What's up guys, thanks for stopping by, I hope you're doing good. One of the more unique things about Valheim is the food and health system. In Valheim, food acts as a kind of buff that as you progress through the game and unlock better food recipes, will start to become an essential gameplay mechanic that will get you through some of the game's most challenging boss fights. But it can be a little confusing, so in this video, I'm going to break down how food and health works in Valheim and how the food and health UI works. Let's jump into it. So let's start by breaking down what's going on when you haven't eaten any food and explain the UI a little bit. So first of all, in the bottom left, you can see there are 3 food slots. Each of these represents a potential meal you can eat, and the reason there's only 3 boxes is that you can only eat 3 different food items at a time. You cannot eat the same food item over and over again in Valheim, as each meal has a duration, and you won't be able to eat the same food item again until that duration is up. You can, however, eat 3 different meals at a time. So these slots in the bottom left represent your current active food buffs. Then we've got the fork bar. This represents the current duration of each food buff. Every time you eat some food, a color that represents the food you just ate will be added to this bar, and the size of that colored bar will be relative to the duration of that food buff. As the duration counts down, the bar will shrink, and once the corresponding color has disappeared, that buff will no longer be active. That might sound confusing for now, but don't worry, it'll become clear as we get further into the video. Last but not least is the actual health bar itself. This is pretty self-explanatory. The red bar represents your current HP, but it is worth noting, however, that your health bar does grow, and when this happens, the darker background color of the bar represents your current possible max HP, and it's also worth noting that default health with no buff is only 25 HP, and that is also what the grey block in the bottom of the fork bar represents. That part of the fork bar just represents the default 25 HP that you get without eating anything. When you're at 25 HP, you will not regen health, as regenning health requires a health potion or food. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some stats and examples. What I'm going to do for the rest of the video now is show you 3 example food items, explain the stats for each one, and then show you a real-time example of how each food item works, so you'll know what to expect when you find new food items in the game. And then at the end, we'll show what it's like when you fill all 3 food slots. Okay, so for our first example, we've got some mushrooms, and we can see the mushrooms add 15 health, 20 stamina, the duration is 600 seconds, and it has a 1 HP tick. This doesn't mean that it instantly adds 15 HP. What it means is it increases the capacity of your health bar by 15 HP the second you eat it. Then, as you digest the food, it's going to count down from 15 all the way to 0, and the length of time it's going to take to get from 15 to 0 is 600 seconds. The 1 HP tick means that every 10 seconds it will restore 1 HP whilst the buff is active. Okay, so time for our mushroom example now. So what we're going to see is our health bar on the bottom left is instantly going to go up by 15. Our stamina bar will actually instantly increase by 20 as well. After 10 seconds, we're going to see our current health increase by 1 HP plus whatever rested bonus we currently have. Then, as those 600 seconds pass by, we're going to see our max HP continue to shrink until the food is fully digested, by which point we'll be back to 25 HP with no health regen. I'm going to speed this footage up so you don't have to wait 600 seconds, but you'll still get to see exactly what happens. Something worth noting here is that when a food item starts to flash in the food bar, its duration is about to be up, but its buff is still active. But whilst it's flashing, you can actually either re-eat the same item again or replace it with another food item. So if any of your food items are flashing, you can actually eat again. You just can't eat a food item if it's in the food bar and not flashing. Okay, so we're going to move a bit faster now through the last couple of examples, because hopefully now you're starting to get the idea of how this works. But it is going to be helpful to see a couple more health items just so you get to see the different buffs and how they all work together in the end. So here we've got a honey example, and we can see that honey increases our health bar by 20, our stamina by 20. The duration is 300 seconds and it has a 5 HP tick. Some food items give you a bigger health bar, others might not give you as big of a health bar, but they'll give you a bigger tick, and it's up to you to find the best combination for whatever it is you're trying to do. Okay, so for our last example, we're going to show you some cooked meat. We can see that it adds 40 to our maximum health, 30 to our stamina. Its duration is 1200 seconds and it gives a 2 HP tick. It was worth showing you a meat option because very often cooked meat in this game has a really long duration and increases your maximum health quite a lot. So that's another tip there. So basically, as you might be starting to guess, it can be a good idea to have some health items that last a really long time and increase the size of your health bar, and combine those with some health items that might not increase your health bar as much but have a higher tick, so that when you do take damage you'll automatically heal faster. And no matter what health item you're using, your HP tick, which again is a tick every 10 seconds. So for this item, we're getting 2 HP every 10 seconds. It does stack with your rested bonus. So because you get plus 50% health regen when you're rested, making sure you have that rested bonus combined with some health items that have a higher tick stacked on top of each other, you can be regenning a lot of health in this game. It's always just about finding the right combination. Okay, so for the last example, I just want to show you what it's like when you eat 3 of these health items at the same time. So now we're going to eat all the previous examples all at once, and we're going to see that our maximum health is now the total of all of the food we just ate plus the initial 25 HP. So for us, that's 25 plus 40 for the cooked meat, plus 20 for the honey, plus 15 for the mushroom. That gives us a total of 100 maximum HP, but obviously because it's going to take time for the buff to get there, by the time we're max health it won't quite be 100. But if we did have a health potion, we could put ourselves straight to 100, and in total for our HP tick, which is the amount of health that gets regened every 10 seconds, which is 2 for the cooked meat, plus 5 for the honey, and plus 1 for the mushroom, then if we have a rested bonus, plus 50% on top of that, and it gives us an 8 HP tick every 10 seconds, plus 4 because we're rested, so that's a 12 HP tick. And this really shows how important being rested is, but that's a topic for another video. All of these health items can be found pretty much right away. You would just have to go and find a beehive, and this is not an amazing combination for the late game or anything, but for the earlier parts of the game this is plenty of health for you to go out there and get stuck in. Alright guys, that's just about going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching it all the way through. I hope you found some of this useful. Don't forget to subscribe for future content. Leave a comment to let me know what you thought of this video. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a dislike if you didn't. I am also streaming Valheim live on Twitch every day right now at twitch.tv/NickRawcliffe. So if you want to stop by and say hello, I'll leave a link in the description for that. And until next time, have a good one.